All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about a world where your clothes, well, they aren't made of fabric. They're made of code. A world where fashion is going completely digital.
Just let that sink in for a second. You walk into a room, it's buzzing with incredible style, but you can't physically touch any of it. This is a whole new playground for expressing who you are.
And you know, this isn't some far-off sci-fi dream anymore. It's happening. Fashion is literally moving into these digital spaces. You know, virtual worlds, social media, and it's creating this brand new reality where what your avatar is wearing, that's a huge statement. Now, here's the most important part to get. These items aren't just pictures. They're not just cool graphics. They are verifiably, provably unique assets. You can prove you own that super rare digital jacket, just like you could a physical one. So, how on earth is that even possible?
Well, that brings us right to the technology that's making this whole thing tick. So let's pop the hood and take a look at how code is kind of becoming the new cotton.
You've heard the term everywhere, right? NFT. It's been all over the place, but what does it actually mean when we're talking about fashion?
The easiest way to think about an NFT is like a permanent, totally unbreakable digital receipt. It's your certificate of authenticity and your proof of ownership, all rolled into one, and it's recorded on this super secure public ledger called a blockchain. It is the one thing that makes a digital item truly 100% yours.
And this is where the differences just get wild. You go from having a flimsy paper receipt to this unhackable record on the blockchain. But the creative leap, that's the really cool part. A physical sweater is, well, it's just fabric, but a digital one, it can have interactive animations, glowing patterns. It could even change its look based on what you do in a game. Which, of course, brings us to the million-dollar question. If you can't actually wear it out to the grocery store, why in the world would you buy it? Let's dig into why these pixels have so much prestige. I mean, it's the question on everybody's mind, right? And the answer, it really gets to the core of how we think about value and status, especially as our lives get more and more online.
It really just comes down to scarcity and self-expression. I mean, think about it. We have always used fashion to tell people who we are. So as our social lives shift online, it's only natural that the way we show off our status and our personality, that's going to move online too. So let's just quickly break down what you're actually getting. First, you get that verifiable scarcity. You know for a fact that you own one of maybe only 10 of these digital jackets in the entire world. Then there's just limitless self-expression for your online identity. That, of course, turns it into a massive status symbol in those communities. And finally, you get those absolutely incredible interactive features. And this is where digital fashion just leaves physical clothes in the dust. I mean, imagine a jacket where the sleeves literally erupt in flames when you win a game, or a dress that shimmers based on the real-time weather data where you live. That is a level of dynamic, living style that's just impossible in the real world.
And let's be clear, this isn't some niche hobby for a few tech nerds. Not anymore. This whole movement is going mainstream. It's bridging that gap between the high fashion runway and the metaverse. The biggest names in luxury fashion, I'm talking Gucci, Balenciaga, you name it, they're all jumping in head first. They're dropping their own NFT collections, they're teaming up with digital artists. They get that their next big storefront might just be inside a virtual world. But it's not just a top-down thing. At the exact same time, from the ground up, you've got online creators, gamers, and influencers who are building massive personal brands all around their unique digital wardrobes. They're proving that style is a seriously powerful currency online. And all of this has kicked off a brand new digital economy. We're seeing these virtual marketplaces pop up that are basically the eBay or the StockX for digital fashion. Get this, there are even services where you can rent a jaw-dropping digital couture gown for a virtual gala. It's creating this entirely new career path for designers who code and create for the metaverse.
So where does this all go from here? As this world just keeps getting bigger, it starts to raise some really deep questions about what's next for fashion and, for us. No, seriously, think about that for a second. If your identity is curated through this collection of unique digital things that you own, does that change the very nature of who we are online? It's a pretty fascinating thing to think about.
But we also have to talk about the elephant in the room. The blockchain technology that makes NFTs possible has gotten a lot of heat, and for good reason, for how much energy it uses. So the big question is, can this new form of fashion ever really be sustainable?
The good news is the industry is listening.
It is responding. A lot of designers and platforms are actively looking for more eco-friendly ways to do this. They're experimenting with newer, low-energy blockchains and working on ways to make producing these digital assets totally carbon neutral.
And really, here's what it all boils down to. As we spend more and more of our lives interacting, working, and just hanging out in digital spaces, the way we present ourselves there, it's becoming just as important, maybe even more important than how we look in the physical world. Which leaves us with one final thought. The next time you see an avatar in some absolutely stunning digital outfit, just pause for a second and think about what you're really seeing. Is it just a bunch of clever pixels on a screen? Or are you actually getting a peek into the future of fashion itself?